Доброе утро, всем привет из штата Теннесси. Мы сейчас находимся возле города Афины, в так называемый Lost Sea Adventure, потерянное море, что ли, затерянное море. Это пещера, в которой находится одно из самых крупных подводных озер в Америке, а может даже в мире. Ждать мне 25 минут, пока они тур будут делать, поэтому пока сейчас погуляем по округе. Здесь небольшое, видите, тропа для прогулок. Здесь также делают стекло, выдувают. И также тут кузница, Blacksmith Shop. Вот так вот выглядит штат Теннесси. Очень холмистый, много деревьев. И совершенно случайно, не знаю, я поехал по историческим местам. Когда я выехал из гостиницы, я решил вместо того, чтобы ехать по хайвею, ехать по back roads, то есть по второстепенным дорогам, чтобы посмотреть на округу, и заметил очень странное явление. Там вокруг, ну, как прошла война, скажем так. Валяются деревья, дома разрушены, везде экскаваторы, бульдозеры что-то ремонтируют. Оказалось, там, то ли летом не сказали, может даже вот это недавно, в декабре, было торнадо F2 категории, и оно как раз вот по той вот дороге, по которой я ехал, там самый сильный был удар. И причем я видел, вот будет видео, я, к счастью, камеру установил, сам того не знаю, там видно даже следы, где вот торнадо это шло, там это как канаву она рыла, вырывала траву и землю копала. Вообще довольно-таки стрёмное дело. Там и амбары разрушенные, и дома. Как говорится, сорвало крышу, все остальное. Вот пример, видите, как выглядел 1800-х годов кузница. Подковы на счастье. И кто следит за моим каналом, должны уже быть в курсе. Вот капканы. Мой покойный дед Сергей. Вот чугунные сковородки. Он был кузнецом в свое время в колхозе. Кстати, вот эти чугунные сковородки определенных брендов, которых компаний больше нет, типа как Griswold, они очень ценятся, и народ их коллекционирует. И также считается, что намного лучше готовить еду на чугуне, нежели на вот этих всех тефлоновых покрытиях, которые эта химия проникает в еду, и она не очень полезна, скажем так. Ну и как обычно, мне всегда удивляют, насколько даже вот при тех старинных примитивных технологиях народ умудрялся создавать вот такие вот различные хитрые инструменты непонятного назначения. Видите, написано "Please do not handle tools", не прикасаться, не играться с ними. Щипцы. Еще какая-то молотилка, крутилка. И уже заметно, что я намного севернее теперь. И вот опять же бревна, видите, как видно, что это ручная работа, когда тесали все топорами. Утром сегодня 24 градуса по Фаренгейту. Это около, это ниже нуля. 0 это 32. Это вот меха для поддувания воздуха и сама наковальня. Я уже такую температуру по утру давно не помню. Здесь небольшой General Store. То есть все открывается намного позже, там в районе, видать, 10:30-11, поэтому сейчас ничего нет. Это Wishing Well, сюда бросать деньги и загадывать желания. Вагончик, старинный воз, как мы говорим, для того, чтобы дети фотографировались со знаком Lost Sea Adventure. Ну, видите, старинные, так вот и тут строили. Из бревен, избушки, а потом перешли на каркасники. Ну, так я, конечно, уже доволен, что командировка подошла к концу. Оно хоть там было вначале так прикольно. Почти холостяцкая жизнь. Но график работы такой, что как ребенок безумно радуешься, когда можно поспать лишних пару часов. И тем более сейчас вот я сдвинулся по времени. Ну, это я просыпался в 4 утра по Луизиане. Это Central Time. А в Мичигане это 5. То есть почти то же самое. Только ложиться надо было раньше. Я надеюсь, я смогу нормально переключиться обратно на наше время. В Теннесси, кстати, тоже Eastern Time, как и Мичиган, восточное время. И меня это вчера чуть смутило. Я так смотрю, думаю, елки, непонятно, почему так поздно я приеду на свое место назначения. Прибытие показывал Google Maps по... Ты, зараза, хотел эту птичку заснять, она улетела. Уже по времени в Теннесси, которое было... Сейчас попробуем заснять. Уже было мичиганское. То есть я прибыл где-то к 11. Рай. Птиц. Так. Ладно. Пытаемся заснять птичку. Только птичка не снимается никак. Ладно. Надо найти назад. Так. Там где-то птица. Я ее через камеру не вижу, а так вижу. Anyways. Ну, сейчас надо будет убить минут 20 и потом пойдем снимать уже Lost Sea Adventure. Там маленький олененок тусит. Мама побежала в другую сторону в панике, и вот он сам по себе там сейчас. Они так по цвету, как листва, только у них хвост их всегда поддает. Вон он поскакал. Where are you? Мы сейчас спускаемся в пещеры, где находится одно из самых крупных подземных озер Америки. Раньше это была соляная пещера.
Alright, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Great, guys. Welcome to the Lost Sea. My name is Zach. I'm going to be your tour guide today. A little about the tour before we get underway. It is a bit of a walk. It's about 3/4 of a mile, and it is a round trip. So we'll enter through this tunnel, and we'll exit through this tunnel at the end. We have 3 rest stops on the way back up from the boat ride because it's a bit of a walk. It's about 14 stories, so it's pretty rough, but we have 3 stops on the way, so it shouldn't be any problem. Also, there are going to be a couple rules for us to go over before we actually continue from this point. The first rule is just stay behind me and on the pathways at all times so you don't get lost. There's no smoking inside of the cave, there's no littering either, and we have trash cans placed throughout the entire cave, so if you have any trash, just wait till you see a trash can, don't throw anything on the ground for us. And lastly, just don't touch or break anything. That can be a $50 to $500 state fine that someone has to pay, and it's probably not going to be me. So does anybody have any questions or anything before we start?
Nope.
Alright, you guys can follow me. About halfway down the bridge, there's going to be a rock that gets pretty low, so just make sure that you all duck underneath that for me. You don't want to get hit. You have to stay on this side of here. Yeah. Pressure back here. Get a good look. Take pictures if you want. If anybody would like to use flash photography, you can. More than welcome. Alright, so this right back here is our first formation. This is actually 2 separate formations that are growing together. The red stuff you see located along the top, that's actually what is known as draperies. It's iron oxide, it's just rust. And below that is something known as flowstone, and that's the white formation you see. It's calcium carbonate, and it's actually just what our bones are made from. And we call this the Cascades because it looks like a frozen waterfall, is what we've heard. And it also gets the nickname cave bacon, because when it's lit up just right, it looks a lot like bacon. So that's where they came up with the nickname for it. But you guys can take pictures if you want to, stand here and look as long as you'd like to. When you're ready, just head back out across that bridge and meet for the old tunnel. When we're all there together, we'll keep going, so we're not going to leave you behind. But you have as much time as you need. Just make sure you watch your heads on the way back out. That rock is still there.
It does look like bacon. It does. It looks like the one I ate.
What, lady?
You're going to get sick of this. Pretty cool.
Alright, so this next formation of ours is located right up here. This is actually 2 formations again. However, these are the most common formations that are found throughout caves. Along the top here, these are stalactites, and below them are stalagmites. Stalactites cling tight to the ceiling, and you might trip over a stalagmite. That's the way they're easy to remember. And also, you'll see over here to the side, this is what happens when they connect. Eventually, they can grow together and connect to form one solid pillar. And it's also called a stalactostalagmite, or just a column. Column is a lot easier to say, so we stick with that. Now, also, the lights, you'll be able to see some greenery around them in some areas. If you see greenery like this right up here, this shade actually helps us determine what this is. If you've ever seen a really old copper penny, this is just tarnish. This is just more of that. It's located in areas where the rock has some hint of copper inside of it. Now, if you see any dark greenery, like right here, you're able to see that that's actually moss green. The moss is brought in, and all the seeds and all the spores for the plants are brought in from outside, attached to us. They fall off, they land next to the lights, and they use it as artificial sunlight, so they're able to grow. That's why it's mostly just moss and ferns. Those don't need a whole lot of natural sunlight. As you can see, we don't have too much of that available, so they have to work with what they have. But our next stop's going to be at the bottom of the hill, so you guys can be there when you're ready. Watch your step coming down. Also, remember the hill, we're going to come back up later. Alright, so the big openness in this big room right here, this is actually what's called the Cherokee Council Chamber. This room gets its name because of how the cave was originally discovered. Back in the 1820s, the cave was first found by a Cherokee Indian chief. His name was Chief Craighead, and he would actually lead his tribe down here, and they'd have special council meetings. We also believe they just used the cave as an escape from any inclement weather outside. It is a constant 58 degrees inside of our cave year-round. We do not have to worry about snow. We do not have to worry about rain. So sometimes we just come down here to either escape the heat or escape any bad weather outside. Now, there are a lot of artifacts that were found throughout this room back in the 1920s, roughly about 100 years after the Cherokee first inhabited the cave. A majority of what they found is in a glass case in the lobby outside in display, so you guys can check that out after our tour. And we still hold the name Craighead Caverns. We are the Lost Sea Adventure, that is our commercial name, but the name of our cave system today is still Craighead Caverns. Along the top, you'll see right up here, along the ceiling, this is a very rare formation of ours. These are actually called anthodites. Anthodite is the Greek word, and it means flower. So these are referred to as cave flowers. These are rare because they only grow in about 8 caves all over the world, and we obtain about 50% of the active population here in this cave. This set isn't active, these aren't growing anymore, but right on the other side of the low rocks here, there'll be a set of active ones. So you're going to follow me, just watch your heads please. Again, rocks get pretty low with the video. Stand on this side, you can see what I see. I know where they are, I know what they look like. These only grow about 1 cubic centimeter every 1,000 years. So I've been here for about 30 years, they look exactly like that, so they don't change. Now, I'm going to make a quick phone call for you all. Wait right here for me, please don't run away.
He's telling them we're still here. We've made it this far.
Yeah.
Got a picture of you with the smile. See if it works.
Jesus, wow.
We are. I've got that. Alright, so the large wooden object you see here to the right side, this is actually what is called a leaching vat. And Confederate soldiers would come into the cave and they would mine for something called saltpeter. Saltpeter is bat, that's all it is. They would scoop it up, they would take it outside in large amounts, and they'd pour it inside of a leaching vat. What they would then do is they'd mix in hot water. The hot water would dissolve out something in the potassium, or in the vat poop called potassium nitrate. And it would run off into the bucket placed right over here. They would mix inside of the bucket something called potash lye, which is just charcoal and lye soap. And after mixing it well enough, they would then heat it up, and crystals would form on the inside of the bucket. They would scrape those out, smash them up, and that residue is what they use as gunpowder. So that's how they fought the Civil War, was with that. That's the only thing you really need to retain from that. Now also, on the wall over here to the left is you're going to see quite a bit of writing. Any writing that you see in bold and black was put there roughly around the time period of the Civil War, and we know that by the date right here on the wall, 1863. This is the oldest known date inside the cave that we have had tested. And we have had it data tested. You'll be able to tell by each small scratch taken out of each number. We just want to prove that it's authentic. so that way we can make sure, instead of just assuming that each number was put there at the same time. You'll see this white writing over here. This is Dennis Ray Belcher from 1965. The neat thing about Dennis Ray Belcher is he lived pretty locally in the area. A lot of people who worked here at the time. We had just opened in 1965, and a lot of people knew him. So he received a fine of $500 for this. And then he received 2 more for his name right here, and also again right over here. So if you're going to write your name, please don't write your full one. That's a really easy way to find you. Now, also there'll be a final low rock, so just make sure you duck under that one on the way through, and you guys can take your time coming through. If you want to take any pictures or whatever, just be careful out here.
Did they know it was back?
Yes, they knew it was that.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew what they were looking for. That hoop has a lot of ingredients and a lot of things that help make a lot of it's actually a very high ingredient mascara.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so this room is called the Hanging Rock Chamber. And this room gets its name because of the ceiling. When you look up towards the ceiling, you can kind of see where we know the name. These rocks look like they're hanging down, and they actually are a very specific name for these rocks. These are called bedrock pendants. Now, the way bedrock pendants form is water flows into 2 different areas into one room. As the water flows in, it meets at one particular spot. That spot happened to be right here, where I'm standing, and that's why it's so flat. Where the water came in was from the room we just walked out of, and also the room that leads right up here. The water met where I'm standing, it began to whirlpool, and that's why the ceiling's flat. Through the rest of the room, the waves just constantly rising and dropping, cause these jagged marks to form. Now that room up there is actually the second largest that we have access to. It is actually where our natural entrance is located. The big yellow tunnel you guys came through is not the natural way in. We had that blasted out in the 60s just to make it easier to get into the cave. The natural entrance today is a flight of 132 stone steps. Those steps are set at a 45-degree angle, and it is roughly about 40 or 90 feet all the way from the bottom up to the top. So it's pretty difficult to go up, so we had the big yellow tunnel blasted out just for convenience. Now that room up there is actually, or was actually used as a bar. The bar was called the Cavern Tavern back in the 1940s. And they would bring people out from outside down into the cave. They would make moonshine outside, bring it in, and they'd also party. And have musicians come in on weekends, so that was they had music to dance to. Over time, a few months period, they actually discovered that you can't become intoxicated inside of a cave. And the reason for that is the air pressure down here is just too low. You start to drink alcohol, and usually alcohol has a very defined effect on you once it enters your bloodstream. And because down here it takes more alcohol for it to really affect you, nobody knew that in the 1940s, so they would just drink what they normally would, and they wouldn't feel any different, and they'd be pretty upset about it. The only problem with the bar is the staircase leading out. It was the staircase that you coming down. It's pretty steep. We've mentioned that. So when you have to use a staircase to go out, it's so steep that the air pressure changes as you go up, and it changes quickly. When you're drinking about 2 or 3 times the normal amount of alcohol you should be, because you're not feeling anything, and you get to the midpoint of that staircase where the air pressure changes, you feel it instantly. You feel lightheaded. You start to feel the effects of that moonshine. By the time you get to the very top, you are completely intoxicated, and you pass out most likely. You either passed out going up the stairs and you fall down and take it over behind you, or you made it outside, which would be good for you. You pass out at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the woods. Alright guys, so this room right here that we walked around is actually what's called the keel room. This room gets its name because of the red keel clay that we've been walking on, so it's not K-I-L-L, so don't freak out, they didn't do anything here. This room was actually important because as they would come through the cave, they found all this red clay. And the early settlers of the Tennessee Valley hadn't really seen this clay before because they were the first to inhabit this far south. So what they decided to do was they decided to scoop this clay up and see what they could use it for. The most popular thing that they found was if they mixed it with buttermilk, it created a very thick substance that formed like a stain. They then put that on their barns, their buildings, any and everything they could, and that was where the barn red color came from. Was this area as well as in North Georgia and South Carolina, this little region here where it's really, really easy to find this clay. You go about 1 to 2 feet underground and you get to all this nice red clay. Now also you will see a glowing red hole right over there. That is called the Devil's Hole. We're going to spoil it. Anyway, the Devil's Hole, it said that if you've been bad and you look inside the hole, you can see the face of the devil. So, good luck, you all should be fine. I'm going to stand right over there. I'm not running that risk. Good luck. Look, don't lean is the motto. Please nobody fall inside the hole. That's the only thing. Also, if you see anything down there that stands out to you, please tell me. Not like the devil, but like $1 or like sunglasses or something. Usually we can get some free stuff in it. A new iPhone. I'm probably gonna tell the story. Just so you, if I had to guess, I would tell the story. I'm saying if I had to guess, I'll probably tell the story. Alright, so the reason that's called the Devil's Hole was because in the 1980s, 2 women on tour looked inside the hole and they saw the outline of the face and they freaked out after seeing the face. So they ran back up to the Yale Tunnel and they were screaming, they were very frightened. The tour guide was more confused than anybody because he didn't know what could have happened because obviously there's nothing in that hole and it wasn't even lit up at the time. What they saw was actually the face of the maintenance worker who was inside the hole, who was working. He was installing a light bulb, so that was the face that they saw, and management thought it was funny. So they just put a red light bulb in and keep the story going. And that's all it's really did. But there was a dollar in there one time, the reason I asked to be told because I went and got the dollar. Alright everybody, so this right here is called the Baby Grand Canyon because it's formed the same way as the real one, just a lot smaller. So you can look over. Ooh, ah. If you want to tell people you went to the real Grand Canyon, just make sure you zoom in really close. You should be good to go. You have to follow me when you're ready. Take that.
There's more.
Yeah? Good. Pretty cool.
He looks like a backstreet boy. Because it's still true. It's not true. If it wasn't true, I wouldn't say it yet.
Girl, you know it's true.
Or he really did look like that. Yeah, before it really did. Alright, so these are strangers. You don't know these people. They have a canine with them. So be on the lookout. Watch them. Guys, watch that. Watch out for Zach. He's a little sketchy. You should hold on to his lungs. So sorry you were stuck with Zach today. Oh yeah. Hey, call him Justin Bieber.
Okay.
You're gonna dig up fire through the chair and show up. Yeah, we're fine. So, all right. So, what you guys hear right now running, that is water. Alright, so the large waterfalls, of course that crystal ball. We've got the field run down to the right side, and we would know it here. There's an electric room, we've got one side of that room that can show the light on YouTube. All the people after that.
That is wet. Ah, there we go. Okay, you ready? Trying to get the boat.
Can I take a picture of you guys?
That'd be awesome.
One of them lost a shoe. They found out like 2 days later, down like here at the bottom of the waterfall. And I was just standing there and said, "I said, you guys want to continue the story?" They all said no. So I was like, yeah, I didn't think you would. Have a good day. And then somebody came down and let him out. And the rest of the tour, I started to laugh. Karma got me. I fell in the water and I shortly after that time. So karma got me. Stepped right off the back of the boat. It was bad. Alright, so, before we get on the boat ride, there are a few things that I need to go over beforehand. First off, this dock right here is floating. So currently it is on water, so when you step down onto it, it will start to move. Don't freak out. There will be 2 steps down onto the boat dock, and then once you get onto the dock, just follow me to whichever boat we're looking at on. Between the dock and the boat, there is going to be a small gap. I need to make sure that each of you know not to step into that gap. If you step into the gap, you get wet every single time. It is not going to be fun after that. So try not to do that. Try to step onto the boat. If you do step into the gap, just hop up and try it again. Once you guys get on the boat, successfully, you go down as far as you can. You have to see and remain seated throughout the entire direction of the boat ride. If you stand up at any point in time, that can time the reason falling out, and I'm going to ask you to sit down. If you fall out of the boat for some reason, the boat goes 2 miles per hour, so remember you should fly out. However, if you do manage to lose your balance and tumble off the side of the boat, try and take a seat. They have some flotation device, so it will get you back in. Any loose items that you may have is probably the most important thing because it happens often.
This is like Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is a little. Yeah. I love the food. Awesome. But you guys on the other side over here.
You guys stay together if you want. If you don't want to,
You got it?
hope so.
Okay, what side do you want me to go on?
Blue side.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter, but you.
This side, that side?
Yeah, blue side probably.
Alright, the blue.
Zach's a little bit taller than me right now.
Oh yeah, you are taller than me, aren't you? I'm 6'5". Sitting pretty low right now. We're waiting for the water to refill itself because we always do that. We like to keep it natural here. So if we lose some water, we're going to let it come back until we're going to let it go until it comes back. If it starts to drain out more, that's a problem we'll deal with when we get to it. The problem right now is that just the lack of rainfall has caused some of the lights to stick up out of the water, as you can see, especially further in the back. These used to do that, so they've worked and got them under the water, so you can actually see a little bit better now. The water has a bluish green color to it, and that's because of the limestone. This cave is 98% limestone. So when limestone is exposed to a lot of moisture, it changes its shade in the water to bluish green. And it has the same effect in the water, has that blue. That's how they got them in. The problem with that is all the clay rubs off onto the glass bottom. Now the problem with that is we have to volunteer to get inside of the water to actually clean that off. Again, I just mentioned, you get hypothermia after about 15 minutes inside of the water. And we just genuinely don't volunteer to do a lot. Being lazy is kind of in the job description. I mean, if I'm not on tour, I'm sitting on a couch waiting to go on tour. So there's not much that I'm really required to do. I did volunteer one time, and they told me I was too skinny. Didn't want to pull me out of the water every 10 minutes because I'm turning blue. So I tried. I did my best.
How did the fish get in?
We actually bring them down. We bring them down every few years. We originally brought them in as an experiment. They were supposed to figure out where the water goes. We still don't know because they failed. Now we just keep them down here for entertainment because people enjoy to watch them. Gives us something to talk about. Without the fish, it's a very silent boat ride. Very quiet.
How many fishes are there?
There are roughly 25 Tobies and 17 Kennedys. And then about 200 of the fish. Wow.
Oh.
Alright, so now if one jumps out of the water, that's happened. It's normal. If one splashes you, it is okay. You are not going to melt, I promise. If one gets inside of the boat, you should probably put that back in the water. Whoever's closest to it, it's your job. You gotta grab it and put it in. That's exactly what I was told when I asked what to do in that situation. So I'm going to relay that. Good leaders delegate.
What do they eat?
They eat the food that comes in this bucket right here. Now, if you're wondering what this is, it's called Purina Trout Chow. Yes, they did mark out the word puppy and write trout on the back. But it's actually Purina Trout Chow. Believe it or not, it is the best thing for them to eat just because it helps support their growth and it gives them all the natural ingredients that they have out in the wild. It just happens to have a lot of beef liver in it because, you know, it's made by Purina who makes dog food. So that's, I mean, they don't change up what they do really. There are other ingredients in it, but the main one is beef liver, so it's little pellets. It's pretty gross. These fish taste like that, so it makes it even more gross. However, they actually love it, mainly because they don't have much of a choice. They eat this every single boat ride. They know exactly what the boat means. They wait right over here for the boat. Figured out large metal object brings them food.
Oh, yeah.
Like it. So, we feed them every boat ride just like this right here. You'll see a lot, some of them that are a lot larger than the others. We actually restocked just about 5 or 6 months ago, so there are some that are varying in size. These fish can't reproduce inside of the water, so it's not that. When trout lay eggs, they lay them on the bottom of the river. The river current then pushes them downstream, and they get hung up on a rock, and another trout comes by and fertilizes the egg. That's how they spawn. That's how they reproduce. They lay their eggs on the bottom here. There is no current to catch them on any rock and lead them to a rock, so they just float up to the top. And the fish never search the top for an egg to fertilize. They search the bottom. They never find them, and sometimes they look like their food, so they'll eat the unfertilized egg. Ooh, family fun fact.
Where did you know?
Yeah.
Your own child.
Really? It may not be theirs. It could be someone else's.
It might be theirs.
They're not all. It could be theirs. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Oh well, they're fish. They've got a pretty cozy life as fish. I mean, this is what they do all day.
This is pretty good.
They get plenty of attention. People literally pay to see them.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, what's on? I thought that spray was like fire that's on.
Yeah, so let's take that deep breath. All right.
Who?
This one right here, you're welcome for that. I didn't put it there. The old one was broken, I kicked it, finished it. So they had to fix it. Still the same. There's those are double A batteries, so that light for a long time. Didn't work. Really disappointing.
What is the very called? I'm sure you said.
It's a stalactite. So the stalactite that formed is right here. So you can see how it's chipped away, broken. Someone broke it off, and after breaking it off, it just eventually interrupted its activity. So as it interrupted the dripping pattern, it eventually just overtopped the tank. So it could have grown all the way through, but it didn't. So lucky for us, the reason we let people touch it is because it's in the exact middle of the pathway. So put a railing around it, or just let people touch it. They because people are going to reach over the railing. They made their decision.
It's like concrete.
I promise it's not. It's nice and smooth because a lot of people touch it, of course. Oil from our hands kind of rub it smooth. Also, there's a hole in the ceiling right up there that a lot of water came from the car off the cave. You see this little hole from here? That's where all the water came from. The land right here is at a decline, so the water drained down and it just carved everything. But this is our final stop throughout the tour today. So, do you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask before we head out? All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I'm not exactly sure what's open across the street. I know our general store is, and I know our restaurant is. So if you guys want to get a bite to eat, or check that out. You're welcome to. Hope everybody had a great day. Hope everybody had a great day. Thank you for coming. Bye, Olivia. Bye, Olivia.
They're my brothers.
Both of them do those things.
That's priceless.
Financial crisis.
Watch you fly above the trees. It's all messed up.
Really? It's like a butterfly.